for some, I think the headlines were actually different on the Sunday. Well, the Eagles have landed. The Eagles finally have come to stay. But all the same, Brazil 2014 looks so good with us. Joining us to look at the outcome of that particular match, our road to Brazil this morning, is a sports journalist, Nnamdi Obaya. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, a fantastic moment. I think I was just privileged to be in Calabar, and I saw the fever in almost everyone coming into that particular city. For a whole lot of people, well, I think the best way to describe it is that everyone was a fan and a supporter of the Super Eagles. But for the coach, he says, well, his boys were disjointed on that particular day. Did you see any kind of chemistry? Was it a fluke for us?
I think watching that match, I think the fact that Nigeria won 2-1 away might have affected their psychology. Before the match, I talked to a number of the coaching staff. I talked to Ike Shoromo, I talked to Robinson Okosu, the team psychologist, and they all said they were approaching it with a relaxed manner. Even the media officer, all of them said they were all relaxed, there was no problem. In fact, they were not going to release, the team list was not released till the morning of the match. I was following up on them. What happened was that when they landed, they had open training session, then they rested, then they had closed door training session where Keshi picked his team, and nobody knew which team that was till the media officer brought it out in the morning. And I think he had his reasons, I don't know, but he had his reasons for that. I think Nigeria approached the game with the mindset of, we've done the heartbeat in Ethiopia, come out, be relaxed here, don't go all out, which I think might have been more, it's more technical than we think, because the Ethiopians came with the mindset of contain for straight attack, but there was now nothing to contain.
Real hard.
There was nothing to contain, so they had to come out. And coming out allowed Victor Moses to find channels to run at them on the counter attack. It actually played straight into Nigeria's hands. But a lot of credit must go to Onazi, who broke a lot of things down in the middle of the park. I think his energy, and as I did find out over the course of the week in constant chats with the squad and officials, he's the official prayer warrior of the Super Eagles. So I guess he also brings that firebrand to the pitch with him. Omeruo coming back to the side was also a good thing, because even though he did have to come off, they said it's nothing too serious, just a precaution. Igweke came on. He's been filling in to some degree of success for Omeruo, but I think Omeruo and Ogbabona is our first choice, and it showed. It was very comfortable when they were both on the field. Sofo came on to give Keshi a welcome headache in his selection, because I think we really don't have people who float in dangerous balls and set piece specialists. And with a player like him in UK, you always need people like that who will drop dangerous things in the box. So it's a welcome headache. The Ethiopians, they had to bring a hard-fit Kebede to partner Saladin Said up front, because they needed at all costs to get something from that match. And they came in their usual very fast, fluid patterns, but it's all down to the fact that it's about time. They've played together for a long time. A lot of them were either academy players or have played with the St. George's side of Ethiopia, which is one of the major clubs there. So they have a common football philosophy, which is very release the ball, run into spaces. It looks very pretty, but what I've come to realize over 2 legs is that it's not always very effective. It doesn't really create space. It just it's okay in the first and second third of the pitch, but if you're crowded out in the third, it doesn't really do anything.
But on our own side, we had a whole lot of invitation, especially from the old hands, and people actually criticized the coach for actually bringing up some of these players, and we saw how effective they were on that particular day.
I was one of those people who believed that the last crucial qualification match is not the time to bring in Bright DK, to bring in everybody, but that it should have waited till this Craven Cottage match on Monday, because that is the match that you can start testing people. It's a friendly. It doesn't carry as much weight as a World Cup qualification. But I guess Keshi was confident enough. I guess he believed in them. And another good thing was I'm happy that a lot of the old players are involved in this. Apart from the coaching staff, I was also able, when I was calling the team, I also was able to speak to old hands like Akpobori, even Odegbami, were in camp with them, having dinner with them and motivating them. So I think that sort of tradition going forward is good. I just don't think that experimenting at crucial matches is the way forward. I think today would have been the right thing. I agree, yes, old players come in motivate, but new players today, we dodged a bullet on that one, I'll be very, very honest, because of all the ties we could have been given. Ethiopia was the trickiest.
You're talking about dodging bullets. Some would disagree that it was fantastic for us. Even the Ethiopians did say that the referee assisted us in winning that game.
No, that penalty has been such a controversial thing, and I think I need to...
A controversial one.
I think I need to lay it out here and explain. The ball came off the player and onto the hand of the... off his thigh and onto his hand. Nobody is disputing that. The truth is that when the referee has no clear decision, he has to work based on the rule of law. And the law says that if the ball makes contact with a player's hand, when his hand is in an unnatural position, then it's a handball. The player's hand was not against his body. It was not in
That's it.
No, his hand is off his body. Because when
it looked to me from that visual, looked to me that it came on the knees and onto the hand.
But look at it this way: when you spread your arms to make yourself bigger, already you've put your hands in an unnatural position, and you've covered more space for the ball. You've covered more space. The ball has less space to pass. Now, if it does hit your hand, it's a handball. His hand was spread off his body. He was making himself bigger to block a ball. It came off his thigh and onto his hand.
To the hand.
No, it's a handball. Had his hand been on his body, maybe he had been sliding in, it bounced off and came onto him. It's a different thing. But he had actually deliberately spread himself to make himself bigger. And in doing that, the FIFA law comes into activation. Your hand is in an unnatural position. So the referee on first glance is allowed to give that penalty. Only sentiment and looking at motive might make you not give it in retrospect, but there and then by the letter of the law it's a penalty.
But they also had a fantastic chance where we thought the referee was also going to award them a penalty, which never came.
That I would put down to to precedence.
Okay.
They had been going down too easily, and when you go down too easily, sometimes referees get irritated.
So he got booked.
Referees get irritated, and you're going to be unlucky when there's a 50-50. You should get a call. Referee doesn't give you, and will add insult to injury by producing a yellow card to prevent future occurrences of that. When a lot of players in a particular team go down easily, and we see it a lot everywhere. Right now, Manchester United winger Ashley Young can't get a penalty even if he paid for it because he goes down too easily. Same thing with Luis Suarez. It's the same thing we saw there. Precedence. Every time somebody touches you, you fall, drop and roll. It's not a fire drill, it's football. So that's exactly what it was. It was just precedence. The referee trying to put a cap on unnecessary play acting and quasi simulation. That's all it was.
So what do you think about the venue? It looks like Calabar or Cross River State is becoming a place where we normally get some of these wins now.
I've been saying this to anybody who cares to listen. The ridiculous amount, almost 100 million they are spending regrassing a pitch in Abuja that still looks like this set of swamp thing. It doesn't work for me. Take that money, come to Calabar. It's already a tourist haven. I think there was a African Film Festival going on while the match was going on.
Yes.
Calabar was full. We have the carnival there. It's a place that has become a tourist destination. Get a Super Eagles resort there. Put a Super Eagles museum there. Make it an tourist attraction. It's a serene environment. We have places when you get to Oburu that have high altitude. Let it be a training center also for the Super Eagles, any of the national teams. A player is injured, let it be a recuperating place where he can be monitored by team doctors. These are the little things we can do and also still make revenue from there. And there will be many people who will be interested in sponsoring and partnering with the Super Eagles that will help you put up this complex. All the mismanaged and quote-unquote missing money could have been put into all this. And we know Calabar is the destination. Super Eagles come to Nigeria, there's no need to say report in camp. We hear issues of, camp was in Ota, then in Abuja. No, there's only one place camp will be, the Super Eagles Resort, Calabar. You land in Nigeria, if you're not there on a certain day, you're not in camp. It's easy to make your rules because all this one of last minute changing venues, even your age grade teams, you want to play friendlies, there are training pitches there you can play. There are AstroTurf pitches you can play. That's what we need to do. Turn Calabar to that. Pump some money into Calabar and just let's know it's the official home of the Super Eagles. It doesn't have to be in the capital of the country.
Now, very quickly before we leave, what's your projection like now that we finally have this ticket and we're all set and go, isn't it?
Yeah, a rush of friendlies. We need a rush of friendlies, and we need to play every type of team. Good for us, we're playing Italy. But now we also need to play different types of teams, South Americans, North Americans, other African countries. And then when the draws are done, we need to play teams similar to the teams in our group, even if they're not as highly ranked or they're not as talented. That way we can work on different formations to counter how these particular teams play. You know, then while all that is happening, we'll be streamlining the squad. I expect that Keshi by now has his first 13, so he's looking for the remaining 10. Because if after the Nations Cup and qualification he doesn't have his first 13, we have a problem. He should have his first 13, and there should only be about 10 shots now up for grabs, barring injury. That's what I believe should be happening now for us.
Do you think this team can actually make it to a particular level, stage rather?
We have a mix of talent and hunger, you know, and if well managed, we can do very well. Because if you remember, our most successful World Cup is USA '94. People wanted to put themselves in the shop window. We have people who want to put themselves in the shop window. The likes of Mikel and Moses will always play well for you. But if we're going to do very well, you're going to need your hungry players to step up. You're going to need your bright DKs to come off the bench and be super subs. You're going to need your unsuffers who need a revamping of their career. And at this point, I don't know why Villarreal's top scorer, Ike Uche, is not yet back in the fold. I think this is the time when we bring him back in, we have friendlies and add him to the squad. But we can do it. There's a possibility. And if we do make the quarterfinals, we could make the semis. But I think in terms of winning the World Cup, we should not even. That's something that, if it happens, we should just celebrate as one of those odd Haley comets that happen once every 75 years. But
well, let's see how the comet will come traverse our own skies. Well, many thanks, Nnamdi Obaya, for joining us this morning. Well, another moment here on Sunrise Daily, and we'll be back, and perhaps maybe in 2014. After that, we'll bring Nnamdi back and see if the World Cup will be here then. Well, stay with us.